Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Soul Calibur. These titles are the most circulated and highest-grossing fighting game franchises up to date. For example, Mortal Kombat's latest installment has sold over 5 million copies. Fighting titles have faced scrutiny on their visuals, however. Gore, violence, and sexist imagery have all been called to attention. It's hard to ignore or not to notice.
Overlooked have been the sounds of the game and what that may be able to tell us that visuals can't. Just visually, we went from this to this.
And sonically, we've gone from this to this. Using a technique known as close reading, we've put aside visuals in favor of sound for this analysis. Since the argument has been that games have improved visually, is the same true for their sonic representations of gender?
In other words, we've looked at the historical transitions of the battle cries for the major female characters across these three titles, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Soul Calibur respectively. The questions we asked are, how do characters sound when they are interacting with one another depending on their gender? How do these sounds differ when they're giving or taking damage from their opponent? And how does sound embody gendered characters differently as avatars that the player is invited to interact with?
Reading the content in this way, we've been able to narrow down female sonic tropes into 3 subcategories that shed unique light on the typologies of female representation in gaming. First, we have the warrior woman. She's strong, serious, has to avenge something for someone, or prove a point that girls can fight too.
I swear on my name, I will prevail! I guess I'll have to do this the hard way. Yes! Target acquired. Beginning mission.
Retirement my ass.
Enter Sonya Blade. She's confident, never at a loss for words or lines to say. But the way that she sounds is so disembodied from her typology. If she's so strong, would she really sound like this? Or have lines like these?
Sonya?
Johnny, did we...
What's confusing about the characters that fit this trope is how everything about them revolves around self-pride, honor, and self-talking or pepping up. There then exists this divide between them being offensive and defensive.
There's a word for that kind of thing, and we'll keep using it. It's called disembodiment. For instance, consider how she sounds in cutscene versus how she is in combat.
Want to see my kung fu? I'll show you. Ding ding! I took this round!
The next trope we have is the cutesy one.
Hi! Is Hibiki-san here today?
She's your run-of-the-mill, kung fu trained, princess, cheerleader, schoolgirl.
She thinks it's either playtime or she's fighting you because there's no alternative, and she's just so sorry.
I'm sorry. Forgive me! Please forgive me.
Fighting to these girls is secondary. Listen and look at these characters. Are they even women or girls?
There are characters like Street Fighter Sakura who sound 10 yet appear 30. Here it's clear that there is a disembodiment between her visual and sonic self. Street Fighter even comments on this in-game as if it's on purpose.
Miss Sakura, 今君ほどメディアを騒がせてる女性はいないと思うけど、格闘を始めたのはやっぱり有名になりたいから？
What?
ボーイフレンドは何人？
ダン・ヒビキとはどういう関係？
ところで、本当に女子高生？
This invitation to a male gaze and ear is not only disturbing, but also a development choice that has persisted across these franchises.
Kind of reminiscent of the lower status of the female voiceover that film theorist Marianne Dewan talks about in her work on voice in cinema.
KO.
The trope builds on the Scream Queen idea in film, where the height of the action, whether horrific or pornographic, is punctuated by a female scream. In our reading and sound, there seems to be almost no difference between when these women take damage and when they're dealing damage to their opponent. Here's a short clip of sound excerpts of both. Can you tell the difference?
Forgive me! Please forgive me! Forgive me!
Finally, we have the seductress. You knew we had to talk about this, right?
Time to destroy you, I suppose.
Silence, you maggot!
How could we talk about fighting titles and miss out on all this?
They're the most upfront with their sexuality and voice. The cinematic femme fatale, flaunting it, using it in a taunting way.
Disgusting.
KO.
Would you like some more?
You want me? I saw you staring.
You look like you're in good shape.
Attending to sound disembodiment here plays out in the more guttural, mature, older tone overall. These women have animalistic qualities about them, raspy voice, lower tone voices compared to the other two tropes, yet still located in a young and over-sexualized female body.
Despite advancements in technology, or perhaps because of them, the same design choices persist, and, to use a sonic metaphor, the tech actually amplifies the problem. Reliance on high-quality voice acting samples rather than short, synthesized bursts also brings with it the endemic representational problems of cinema, all in the name of greater realism in the gaming experience. The problem is that in some situations, these women are the mascots of the game. They're cosplayed at conventions, they're the cover character, and they're featured in amazingly over-the-top advertisements.
And that's where the heart of this problem lies. Marketing, audience analysis, user profiling, and players' praise. These massive titles go after what powerful women should look and sound like.
To designers and audiences, this is what they feel is asked of them in female characters. Voice remains a staunch way to stereotype not only gender, but race as well. So while we call for diverse bodies, we also want to call for diverse voices.
Perfect KO.